Good day, Supervisor. Welcome to our LDP201 30-minute mini lessons on leadership competencies. So please take a few minutes and take a picture of this QR code and kindly register yourself. Today we're going to cover the first leg, which is cognitive thinking, and then underneath cognitive thinking, we're gonna cover critical thinking, one of the topics in critical thinking. Our topic for today is structured problem solving. What is structured problem solving? Actually, it's just very simple. It's a approach to solving a problem, and this is not so similar to sometimes we just jump into trying to solve a problem without really having a process to follow in finding its root cause, identifying options, and then figuring out which is the best solution. So in the next few minutes, we're going to talk about a very simple process on how we solve problems. Now, this problem solving approach reminds me of a time where my driver was supposed to drive me to the office, and when I got down to the car, the car wouldn't start. So I was sitting in the back, and the driver was trying to start the car. It wouldn't start, and as I sat there, and as he tried to start the car, I noticed that there was no lights in the dashboard. So I asked him to try and turn on the headlights. There was no, the headlights did not work. So clearly, the battery of the car ran out. So when I asked the driver why the battery ran out, he said he doesn't know. And then I said, "Sige, let's try to walk through what happened yesterday." I said, "After you dropped me, what did you do? After you dropped me back at home, what did you do?" He said he just parked it in our designated parking slot. And then I said, "What's next? And what else happened?" He said that he got a call from his brother. I said, "What was the call about?" And he said that his brother was asking him where he was because apparently he was running late for the birthday party of his brother. And his brother's birthday party was still across in Manila, and we were in Ortigas. So I said, "What did your brother say?" He said that he should rush over because he wanted him to buy a few things for the birthday party. So I said, "So you were in a hurry and you rushed off to meet your brother?" He said, "Yes." And then what do you recall doing last before you left? And then he sat there for about a few minutes and he was thinking, and he said that, "I think I might have left the lights open because it's a bit dark in the, not very dark, it's just slightly dark in the parking lot." So I said, "If you left the lights on, then the battery would of course discharge, and this morning we cannot go to our destination because our car wouldn't start." So if you notice, I had to dig deeper and try to figure out what happened the day before so that I can find out what was the root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem that the car won't start is not really the battery. The battery is just a result of negligence on the driver's part. He forgot to turn off the lights of the car before he left. So the root cause of the problem is not the battery is drained, but because the driver was negligent. So sometimes you need to step back and follow a certain pattern or a certain process in order for you to get to the root cause of a problem. If you don't figure out what the root cause of a problem, you'll end up solving it superficially. It's not permanently solved. You're solving what they call the symptoms of a problem and not really the problem. Here are a few steps in problem solving. It's not rocket science. It's quite simple. Number one, don't jump into conclusion. Don't immediately say that the battery is dead because you did not bother gathering enough information. Then this could happen again if the driver did not realize that it was him who was at fault for this. So gather your information first. And then when you have all of the information, you keep asking why, the question why. It's called the 7 whys, until you find the root cause, until you come to a point that you cannot ask why anymore. And then after you identify the root cause, the proper root cause, then you brainstorm and try to come up with different solutions for that particular problem. Once you have 2 or 3 solutions, you come up with a criteria for selecting the right solution. So for instance, is cost a criteria for choosing a solution? Is timeliness a criteria for selecting a solution? Is ease of implementation a criteria for selecting the right solution? I don't know. It depends on the problem itself. So you have to figure that out. And then once you select a solution, create a rollout plan and a communication plan so that the right people are aware that you're trying to solve a problem and that you're trying to roll out a solution. And then, of course, you roll it out. And then you assess, diba? You assess. How did the solution permanently solve the problem? Does your solution stop recurrence of the problem? When you're solving a problem, you have to look at 2 angles. One is the immediate solution of the current problem, and then the second one is prevention. So if you tackle also prevention, you make sure that the problem doesn't occur again. Okay, so now that we're done with the lesson, I want you to take a picture or to scan this QR code. You will be brought into a questionnaire, and in that questionnaire, I want you to think about, number 1, 2 opportunities where you can apply this knowledge or whatever you learned today. Enter them in the form for recording, and then after a month, we will be able to see, or we will be able to reach out and randomly check if you were able to apply the solution or this particular lesson. Or if you are not, then why not? Maybe we can tweak the lesson so that it's easier for you to understand. And then, of course, your attendance plus your application forms part of the grading system. Remember, I said on a previous presentation that there are rewards for number 1, attending, number 2, learning, and number 3, applying what you learned. Thank you. Have a nice day.